Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces. Every other Sunday, we actually dropped a thought piece this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing, and we provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Allô les mecs et les mecs. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is education. On the conversation around education this week, we're going to be talking about energy management. In fact, I'm going to be the bearer of bad news and let you know that if you do have an issue with New Year's resolutions, if you have a pet peeve about the people who love to establish resolutions because they just don't work, I'm here to put a spotlight on the real issue, and that's your energy management issue. And yes, no one likes to be criticized, but I think that if there is any point in the year where it's an opportunity to put a spotlight on behaviors that maybe hinder rather than help us, then it is this time, because you're at a pivotal moment where you can be mindful and intentional about what you want to do with the year that is on the horizon. And that involves being really open and honest and candid about what took place that made it so that you didn't feel like you accomplished the goals that you had this past year. And the ones that you established, whether formally or otherwise, we all start the new year with like a vision of what we hope the year becomes. And some of us fall off simply because we're not that great energy managers. And so I'm here to give you the cold hard truth. This is a follow-up from the conversation that I had earlier on this week. And earlier on this week, I talked a little bit about goal planning, about all of the different ways that you can goal plan, about co-authoring your goal plan, like putting a goal plan together with you and your significant other, or bouncing off ideas with a friend. Like, there's just so many different ways that can help you build the excitement about the year on the horizon. And that excitement can build into intention. And with that intention, you build out a roadmap, your calendar, your time, your energy, so that it goes where it serves you best. So if you find that you fall off the bandwagon, that you are frequently unable to achieve your goals, and that means that you're just not managing your energy properly, and you're probably engaging in one of the behaviors that I'm going to be listing in this video. So this is the cold hard truth. This is meant to have you think very critically about your behaviors and really think about, to what extent does it serve you to be mindful about the behaviors that hinder your ability to grow and evolve the way you know you want to. So we're gonna go right into them, and this is tongue in cheek, but I'm being serious. So I'm going to try to keep it light and fun because feedback about our shortfallings is never a fun conversation to have. But at least there's some distance here. I'm not looking at you. You're not looking me in my eyes. I don't feel uncomfortable about the fact that I'm sharing uncomfortable truths. And you can sit with this information, see to what extent it applies to you, and then make a plan around your management of your own time and your own energy so that you can make sure that you keep the time that you need for the things that mean a lot to you. And so with that said, we're going to jump right into it. So the first energy cannibalizer that you probably engage in is you don't recognize where your energy goes by the end of the day. If you're someone who frequently ends your days saying to yourself, I don't know where the day went. If you feel that way more times than not, it's because you aren't intentional about your time and your energy throughout the day. I always know where my energy goes. I always know where my energy flows because I am very, very protective and territorial about my time and my energy. And I have become that way because there are just too many things that I want to do with my time to be liberal and frivolous with how I spend it. So there is very rarely a day where I am telling myself as I close my eyes, I don't know where the day went. I do know where the day went. I know exactly where my energy went because I set out my energy management for the morning. I tell myself how much of my energy I want to go in whichever task, and that is how I manage my day. And of course, we have the wild cards. We have the things that take place that we didn't expect, but I am so hyper focused on how much time I'm giving to the wild card moments because I didn't allot a whole heck of a lot of time for that. In fact, I have maybe 10-15% of my day where I'm allocating it for like a wild card interaction. And so I think this is really important. And I think that for those of us who recognize that we're continuously feeling blown away, but how much of our time is just trickling through our fingers is because you're wasting your time doing a bunch of things that don't align with the things that mean a lot to you. Sorry, not sorry. It is the cold, hard truth. And if you find that a lot of your days feel like a whirlwind, it's because they are, and that's because you're allowing yourself to be swept up in anyone's storm. Which brings us to point number 2. You allow the people in your life to cannibalize on time that you have not allocated for them. And this is really, really important because as much as I enjoy socializing to the extent that I do, as much as I enjoy having a period of time where I'm having a social interaction, that is not what I'm searching for at every point in the day. I have learned that it is very, very important that the people that I care for have the time that I've allocated for them, but I also make sure that that's not just the time that they're available for me. I have time available for the people that I care about, of course, but that is over and above the time that I've allocated for myself, the time that I've allocated for my goals, and the time that I've allocated for the other things that I want to do in my life. And for someone who is always readily available for the people who come to them, who always has their phone on, I remember the exact moment, and I think it was just about when I graduated from university where I had a call interrupt my sleep. And from that moment on, I was like, this was not a call I needed to wake up from. This call has disrupted my sleep cycle and it will take me maybe 2 to 3 days to get back on track. I am now putting on do not disturb so that my phone does not disrupt me during my pivotal sleeping time. And because I don't sleep the, recommended amount of time, I don't feel I personally need to, but it does mean that the amount of time that I am sleeping, it can't be interrupted. It has to be uninterrupted or my entire system is out of sorts. So I remember making the executive decision that I have established a boundary. Like, I do not want my sleep interrupted. Like, unless you are banging on my front door, there's going to be no digital medium from which you can access me and interrupt my sleep. My sleep is that important to me. And so if you're someone you want to be so available to such an extent that you even allow people to cannibalize on your sleep time, then that is an indicator that you are just frivolous with your energy. You don't recognize the significance and the importance of your energy, even if that energy is spent resting. And that is point number 3. Energy management involves giving yourself time to rest. And so I am someone who, in periods where it is very slow and where I don't have a lot of urgent ticket items where I need to really be on the ball, I am mindfully, intentionally resting. I am in my sloth mode. And I talked a lot about how much I love sloths. A little while ago, it was probably more than a year and a half ago, but I'm completely obsessed with sloths because they're designed for a cool, calm, collected, relaxed lifestyle. And that often is not a gift that we have available to us. Even for those of us who live in equilibrium and who have that centeredness and that groundedness. Like to be living your best life in sloth mode where you're like being ultra restful is just not something that's typical. So when I have moments where I have large amounts of my day that I can spend resting, like I have that luxury, because I know that that's a finite period of time where I can do that, I am taking that period to rest. And because I have experienced such significant highs in life and such significant periods of acute stress, I have learned that if I take these times to really be leisurely, to really be restful, to just kind of allow myself to have a lazy river day in my thoughts, in my thinking, then if it is the time for me to have that energy required for an acutely stressful moment, I have packed energy in my reserves. And so I have learned that for people who don't or who haven't experienced like acute stress over a prolonged period of time, they can easily see my resting habits, like me just laying down, lazying around as like someone who's like unmotivated. But I am very motivated. I'm very motivated in deepening my energy stores and having that extra energy available for the moment that I have to have an adrenaline kick and get back into fight or flight mode, but really do it in a way where like I am on 100%, 150, 200% battery because of how much time I spent resting, purposefully keeping energy in my reserves. And sometimes as I'm doing it, like when you give yourself an opportunity to rest, then your body actually tells you how tired you are. And so a lot of the times for me, like when I'm in fight or flight mode, I don't experience exhaustion. I don't experience feeling stressed out because I just need to be on, like I just need to be so focused. So sometimes it takes like a week of resting before I feel how tired I actually am. And so a lot of us don't actually know how tired we are because we're still on the ball. We're still going from one thing to another. But for any of us who have taken vacation, it takes maybe 2-3 days before your body starts to really signal to you to what extent it was really like craving or needing that period of rest. So the same goes for me. Like when I am in fight or flight mode, it doesn't just immediately turn off, right? Like I need at least 3 or 4 days to come out of fight or flight mode, and then another 3 to 4 days, sometimes a week, to actually feel like how much pressure and how much weight I put on my body. And then I start the recovery period. And so a lot of people think that you immediately from an acutely stressful position, you go into recovery, but you don't. There's like different phases that my body goes through before it like actually feels like safe enough to enter a recovery state. So when my body is in a recovery state, when it's basking in the normalcy and in the steady state that is my environment, we're not in danger, there's no threats that make me feel like I need to be really alert and aware of my situation, then I am actively rebuilding those energy stores that I burnt through during those acutely stressful periods. So I think that if rest is not part of your energy management strategy, then you're allowing your energy to be cannibalized with the things that you are doing that you should be swapping out for rest. And so the last one that I want to talk about is that you don't have a plan. And so this brings us back full circle to why you need to have resolutions, because without a plan, you can't be intentional. You can't be mindful about where your time is going because you haven't allocated specific areas where you want your energy to go. And like, so for me, like when I talk to someone who has all these dreams and all these ambitions, but they don't have a plan, they don't know to what extent they need to spend what amount of their day focalizing on that dream, even if it's time spent brainstorming on that dream, then of course you're going to fail, right? Because dreams without goals they're just imagination. If you want your dreams to come to life, you have to have a plan. And so this doesn't mean like, okay, that plan needs to be your New Year's resolutions, but it needs to be something that you put to paper that you're leveraging to allocate your energy accordingly. And so you can't allocate your energy accordingly if you don't know where your energy should be going and you haven't built out an end state for what it's going to look like if you put your energy in these specific buckets for a finite period of time. So if that's not a conversation you've had with yourself, then you're in energy wasting mode where you have wasted your energy. You've probably wasted it for a long time. And it's not that New Year's resolutions is a farce, it's that you haven't set yourself up to be successful in accomplishing your New Year's resolutions, because in general, for the things that you care to do or have plans or would like to accomplish for your dreams, your ambitions, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a structure, even if you're a free spirit, which I consider myself to be, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So that's not New Year's resolutions fault. That's unfortunately your fault, but it means that you can do something to fix it. So hopefully this bitter pill, cold glass of water to the face will give you food for thought as to how you orient around this New Year period, whether whether or not you do establish goals, whether or not on top of establishing those goals, you set yourself up for success by building out a time schedule, being very mindful and intentional about the boundaries that you're going to place around your energy, about where your energy is going to go next year and where it isn't going to go, and about being territorial about your energy. I don't hear anyone talk about how we need to be a lot more like territorial about where energy goes, not just allow energy vampires to come and sap the life out of us, and then we don't have time left to do the things we love the most and to put our energy into the things that we want to build the most as well. So that was the topic for today. I think fun for me, tongue in cheek for me. Hopefully it was like fun and engaging for you while also being enlightening. I hope it creates enough of a reaction in you that you start to feel intentional about the commitments that you make to yourself, about how you're going to self-orient in this upcoming 2024 year. So that was the topic for today. Hopefully insightful for you. It was fun for me because it was tongue in cheek, and those are always fun segments to shoot. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above those events. So check it out. Be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.